And, this is absolutely happening every day to commercial pilots, not just far off lights on the horizon, but, objects within a few thousand feet of their cockpits around the world.
This is more complicated to understand why those things don't come out the same way, because they don't have this chain of commands.
Oh, well, there's a whole different set of incentive structures to keep commercial pilots, in place. And even with the obvious and most, forceful, which is it used to be against the law. It used to be against the law for pilots and others to report, quote unquote, UFOs in the 70s and into the 80s because they believed that it was going to fill up the response lines for identifying Soviet aircraft that might be flying into the U.S. And so, well, at least that was the rationale that was provided.
But what do you mean by criminal?
It was punishable by time in jail. I forget the years and a fine.
Report it?
Yeah. Essentially, the rationale was you're clogging an important information line with nonsense information, right? So it was punishable by jail time at one point in the not too distant, past. But then, in modern times and afterwards, there was always a stigma associated with this. There are risks to commercial pilots in that, one, you can work an airline for 30 years. You get a number on day one, and that number follows you the rest of your life at that airline. And it bases your pay and your scheduling and your quality of life. So this number is very important. And if you have trouble with management or you lose your position at that company for whatever reason, there is no lateral transfer in the industry. So you can be a senior pilot with 30 years of experience. You're going right back to position 0 at whatever airline you get a job at next, and basically starting your career over, right? That is your career. It doesn't matter how many hours you have or experience. Yeah. It's that number, right, when you're in the commercial airline. So what incentive does a pilot have to communicate on a topic where their management has been known to send cease and desist letters, legal threats to pilots for talking about this publicly? Why would they do that?
Yeah,
and by the way, if they're talking about something that perhaps their flight doctor does not believe is a real part of the world, they're now eligible to be evaluated for psychosis and hallucinations, which even if they pass that test, they'll still be grounded for 12 months without pay, essentially frozen while they evaluate that. So again, what's the incentive structure? So it's very easy for pilots to just go, nope, don't want to report that. And you can hear it time and time again. And in fact, Steven Spielberg even made fun of this in his movie Close. Not even made fun of it. He brought attention to it. In
Disclosure Day?
No, not even that one. Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh.
The movie starts with the pilot sighting. And at the end of it, the air traffic controller said, do you want to report a UFO? And he's like, it's quiet for like 8 seconds. He's like, no, we do not want to report a UFO. And even today with the pilots, the reports we receive from commercial pilots and others, I can tell they feel like they're doing this against their best personal interest, but they think it's important because the time is right to understand this more. And so that same perception and same stigma absolutely is still today. And it's one of the reasons my organization has worked with Congress to generate legislation that would officially classify UAP as an aviation safety hazard, thus protecting pilots, allowing them to talk about this under existing workplace safety legislation and whistleblower protection laws. And so that's legislation that we're looking to get enabled that will basically provide a clear path for pilots to report without fear of retribution.
And this is the main agenda of the organization.